what's weird? For years, everyone thought AI would first replace factory workers. Instead, it learned how to code, how to create Excel and PowerPoint.
And now half the corporate world is quietly realizing they may have a problem. Because the first jobs AI is replacing are not the jobs people expected. They're office jobs.
Today, let's take a look at the jobs already standing closest to the edge and why AI is coming for keyboards before hard hats. This is Pocket Podcasting Company, and I am Dana.
Hello, I'm Sam. The biggest misunderstanding about AI is this. People think AI replaces jobs. But from what we are seeing so far, it replaces tasks first. And the tasks most vulnerable are repetitive, digital, predictable, and easy to check, which describes a shocking amount of office work.
So not robot steals your desk, more like AI quietly takes 60% of what you do every day.
Exactly. And if one employee with AI can suddenly do the work of 3 people, companies notice that very quickly.
Let's talk about the first major target, customer support.
Yeah, because companies realized something uncomfortable. Most customer service conversations are basically patterns. My package is late. My password won't work. I want a refund. AI is extremely good at pattern-based communication.
And unlike humans, AI doesn't get tired after hearing, "I'd like to speak to your manager," for the 400th time.
Exactly. Now, this doesn't mean every support worker disappears tomorrow, but instead of needing 100 agents, maybe you only need 20 humans supervising AI systems. That's the real shift.
The next category feels brutally obvious in hindsight: administrative work.
Oh, AI absolutely loves admin work, scheduling, data entry, invoice handling, meeting summaries, calendar coordination, document processing. Basically, if your entire day is moving information from one screen to another, AI is already training for your job.
That sounds aggressive.
Because companies are suddenly realizing, wait, humans have been copy-pasting information between systems for decades, and AI can do that insanely fast.
The next category is really surprising: creative work.
Yeah, because AI became pretty good way faster than people expected. Not genius level, but good enough is dangerous.
Especially for companies trying to save money.
Exactly. Basic creative work like SEO articles, product descriptions, thumbnails, and presentation graphics. AI can already generate huge amounts of this in seconds.
And honestly, for a lot of companies, good enough is all they wanted in the first place.
That's the dangerous part. AI doesn't always need to be brilliant. It just needs to be fast, cheap, and acceptable.
Which is probably the most terrifying business model ever created.
Yeah, because suddenly one marketing employee with AI tools can produce 50 ad variations, 10 thumbnail concepts, an entire week of social posts, and a presentation deck, all before lunch.
Meanwhile, somewhere, a graphic designer just felt a mysterious disturbance in the universe.
And again, this doesn't mean creative jobs disappear completely, but it absolutely changes what companies expect from creative workers. The value shifts from, can you make content, to, can you make content that actually stands out from the AI flood?
Okay, so after customer support, admin work, and creative work, what other kind of jobs does AI seem surprisingly good at taking over?
A junior coding work. And this is one of the most misunderstood parts of the AI conversation. Because people hear, AI writes code, and immediately imagine, okay, programmers are finished. But that's not really what's happening.
At least not yet.
Right. What AI is really attacking first is the repetitive layer of coding. The stuff junior developers often spend years doing. Fixing small bugs, writing standard functions, formatting APIs, generating documentation, building simple interfaces, or copying patterns from Stack Overflow.
Which honestly was already half the internet economy.
Exactly. AI is incredibly good at recognizing coding patterns because code is structured, predictable, and rule-based, That's basically AI heaven.
And now beginner programmers can generate huge amounts of code almost instantly.
Yeah, which sounds amazing. Until companies realize, if one senior engineer using AI can suddenly do the work of 5 junior developers, you stop hiring as many juniors.
That's the scary part, because junior jobs are how people become senior.
Very true. You traditionally learned programming by struggling through bad code, debugging nightmares, broken deployments, and confusing documentation. But AI is starting to remove parts of that learning phase, and the industry still hasn't figured out what happens when fewer beginners get hired.
So coding isn't disappearing, but the ladder into coding may be changing dramatically.
That's the real story. The strongest developers probably become more productive with AI. But the easier your coding work is to predict, the easier it becomes to automate parts of it.
Here's the twist nobody expected. For years, automation fear focused on factory workers.
Meanwhile, AI walked straight into the office. Because physical labor is actually very hard to automate, reality is messy, but digital office work, that's AI's natural habitat.
So, ironically, the person fixing air conditioners may currently be safer than the person building PowerPoint decks.
Honestly, there's a decent chance of that, because AI is strongest at handling information, generating text, analyzing patterns, and automating repetitive computer tasks, which describes modern office work almost perfectly.
So what's the real lesson here?
The danger is not AI suddenly replaces all humans. The real danger is companies quietly needing fewer humans.
That's a very different problem.
Exactly. Because AI doesn't have to replace 100% of your job to change your career. If it automates half your tasks, the entry-level work, or the repetitive parts, the entire structure of hiring changes.
And the people most exposed are not necessarily the least intelligent.
No, they're the people whose work is predictable, repeatable, and fully digital.
Thank you for watching Pocket Podcasting Company. In our next episode, we'll talk about the jobs AI struggles to replace.
And trust us, it gets stranger from here. See you soon.